acknowledges and honors the light of God in each of you. You're not here by accident, you know. The light of your life, the light of your soul adds meaning and sanctity to this occasion. And I am profoundly grateful to be part of the All Faith Seminary International family and the World Yoga Community family. There is an evolutionary shift happening in the world. You all know this. I know you all feel this. More and more people are awakening to the truth that all is one. We are all one. We are one cosmic consciousness in which all creation lives. More and more people from all backgrounds and beliefs, whether they are religious, spiritual, agnostic, humanist, are seeking the noetic experience of the divine. That is the direct, transcendent experience of God by whatever name or no name at all. God is beyond names. And this is accelerating. And you all know this, you're all part of it. All Faith Seminary International was founded by one of the pioneers of this movement, Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. It was he who founded the first interfaith seminary in the world, whereby people of all beliefs would come together to learn the great religious, philosophical, and mystical teachings of the world. He used to say this: God gave a piece of his wisdom to each of the religions, but if you want all of my wisdom, you have to talk to one another. His motto, never instead of, always in addition to. You know, when I was in seminary, they'd ask you, what was the most important thing you learned? Almost everybody said that. Everyone, never instead of, always in addition to. That motto ignited the interfaith, interspiritual, intermystical movement of today. Now, Guruji, founder and CEO of World Yoga Community, is graciously hosting this event. And as he said, this is Interfaith Harmony Week, which is celebrated all around the world, including at the United Nations. And I was at the United Nations with him, and so was Reverend Dr. Kathleen last year. He also sits on the board of trustees of All Faith Seminary, and he was such a good friend to Rabbi Gelberman. So Guruji, our heartfelt and most profound thanks to you for all you do for the seminary and for the world. Namaste. So in this prayer service, which by the way, is being live streamed and could potentially be viewed by thousands of people based on past prayer services, you will meet some of the leadership and alumni of All Faith Seminary. You'll see who they are and what they do. And at the end of the prayer service, we ask you to please stay for Holy Schmooze. This is something Rabbi started. It's, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's soulful chit chat where we literally talk heart to heart, soul to soul. And we'll all be unmuted and we'll invite you to share of yourselves and ask questions. At the end of this service, if you want to be part of future events like this, reach out. We welcome you. If you want to just be on our mailing list, reach out. If perhaps you would like to take elective classes at our divinity school, we welcome you. Perhaps after the service, you feel called to ministry. If you wish to be ordained as interfaith clergy while remaining rooted in whatever you believe or practice, we welcome you. Perhaps you're interested in a master's or doctorate of divinity, one that you can customize to your own interest. We welcome you. Our Dean Kathleen is known to say, students find the experience of our seminary transformational. Perhaps you will feel as we do, that this is home, your spiritual home. So today we invite you to join the All Faith Seminary International family. a home that embraces the world. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Reverend Dr. Kathleen Regan, a lifelong educator, an interfaith minister, artist, yogini, dean of all faiths, and for 14 years. By the way, she was personally appointed by Rabbi Gelberman. She's an alumni of the seminary. I like to call her the Blessed Mother of the seminary for the quality of her heart and the way she cares for all the students and alum. Reverend Dr. John Mundy, who's here with us today, calls her the glue that keeps the seminary together. Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Susanna and Guruji. It's really an honor to be here and to share this wonderful, auspicious night with all of you. I'm just going to open with a prayer that has a lot to do with the way I feel about world harmony. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityur Mam Amritam Gamaya. So that means, Lord, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from the darkness to the light. Lead me from mortality to immortality. And on behalf of the United Nations, the World Interfaith Harmony Week, All Faith Seminary, Guruji, the World Yoga community that he founded and is so active in, I welcome you again to this auspicious evening. Now, Susanna said a lot that I'm not going to repeat, but I do want to talk a little bit about the importance of the work that we do, and I want to honor that. St. John of the Cross, that 15th century Spanish mystic, said, "Where there is no love, put love, and you will find love himself," with a capital H, which means that wherever there isn't love, when you put it there, there is God, there is spirit shining through. It's a very simple formula that we have learned how to do as interfaith ministers. And as part of the All Faith Seminary and the interfaith community, we've learned that it's a privilege to serve humanity, feeling the need and bringing harmony wherever it's needed. And we see the effects of harmony when combinations and elements and diversity come together. We've seen it over and over. Guruji sees it and breathes it. He can see it before it happens. We are ministers of peace, serving here to anyone that needs help, and helping with a loving heart, not because of some reward down the road, but because we feel the need and we want to serve. And we're all ministers of that one source. And there are many names that we call the source, but it's all the same God. We know that. Rabbi Gelberman, who was a great Kabbalist, stressed unity in diversity. He stressed it in everything that he did. He also said, and I know a lot of the students are going to remember this from being part of the seminary, that if you want to unlock the mystical meaning of a word, Kabbalistically, meditate on every letter and listen to what the Spirit is telling you each letter means. And he always used as an example the word life. He loved the word life. And he said, the mystical meaning of life is this. L stands for loving unconditionally. I stands for being inspired unconditionally. F stands for forgiving unconditionally. E stands for being excited unconditionally. And he really lived by all these ideas. It wasn't just some rhetoric. Every place he went, he turned on his light, and you felt it, you saw it, you felt the aura. It was undeniable. In the 1993 Parliament of World Religions, a question was asked: is it possible for people of many religions, of many races, of many languages to truly love one another? I think our seminary answers that every day. It is our belief at All Faiths that yes, love is possible in a community of diverse beliefs, practices, and religions. Never instead of, always in addition to. The following interfaith affirmations that I'm going to read are the cornerstone of our seminary, and they're the vows that our ministers say at graduation and ordination. And we have them printed on our little brochure that we distribute. And the more that you read about this, the more that you hear about interfaith, it's just such an important part of our society today. When I met Susanna in 2001, we were in our master's class together. Interfaith was kind of new. People, oh, what is that? Is that a new religion? They didn't know what it was. So it's a philosophy that we live by, we breathe by. Guruji is just such an incredible influence on the whole interfaith community. I can't say enough about this person because he just lives, breathes, and I don't think he sleeps very much either. He works all through the night, all over the world. He's an international, he has an international effect on everyone. Okay, so the affirmations that we teach in this seminary are these. 1, we affirm the truth in all religious paths. Actually, we affirm the truths in all faith traditions, not just religious paths. 2, we affirm our belief that seeking attunement to spirit is the highest goal of conscious living. 3, we affirm an inclusive vision of we. We experience ourselves as part of the global human family. So God is one with many faces and facets. So we are inclusive from the far right to the far left. We affirm the essential goodness of the human being. We affirm that each person, indeed all life, is a part of the healing of the world. We have faith in the ultimate healing of the planet. And I would say that for this year is my favorite one. And the last one is this. We affirm the value of interfaith interactions as enriching our awareness of spirit in the world. So those are our affirmations. And I hope that all of you really live by that. I know you do. And I'm going to turn the program back over to Reverend Susanna, because I am finished with this part.
Well, I'm just going to say something before I turn it back to you. You know, when I met Rabbi, oh my goodness, it was 1994 when I entered seminary. And I said to him, I don't want to be an interfaith minister. Why am I here? I've missed all these mystical signs are pointing me to you to join, but I really don't want to do this. So I don't want to be and he was so wise. He was a psychologist, you know, and He held my hand. He said, meditate with me for 20 minutes, because he knew I meditated. And he said something that I've told so many people who might be interested in ministry. He said, you know what, Susanna, you need not know why. If it feels right, join. If it doesn't, don't. The why will be revealed to you. So all of you who, if you feel a calling, a pull to Interfaith Ministry, if it feels right, join. If it doesn't, don't. The why will be revealed to you. And as Kathleen says, the experience is transformational, has been in my life. Actually, Kathleen, I'm going to ask you to, if Kathleen is the mother of the seminary, the father of the seminary is definitely Rabbi Paris, our president, guest of honor. And Kathleen, would you please introduce him?
Is he here?
Yeah.
Is he here?
Yes, yes, you can start. Kathleen can talk about it.
I'm here.
Okay, wonderful.
Are you unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Rabbi Stuart Paris is our president, and it is really an honor to be in this seat right now, introducing you as our guest of honor today. Rabbi Paris is not only the president of this seminary, but he's been involved with the interfaith world for many years. He was Rabbi Gelberman's prize student. His wife became an interfaith minister, and actually that's how he met Rabbi Gelberman, through his wife, who he always calls his teacher. And he honors her all the time, Enid. And Rabbi Gelberman studied Judaism all his life. So Judaism wasn't new to him when he met Rabbi Gelberman, but he wasn't a rabbi yet. And I believe the story, he could tell the story better than I can, but after he met Rabbi Gelberman, he wanted to study with him. And Rabbi said, well, there's a condition here. I will let you be my student if you become a rabbi. So he became a rabbi. And I know that I think he could say much more than I can about that relationship, but his mission is to teach the love and joy of Judaism in the Kabbalistic way of Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. And after the teachings of Martin Buber and Abraham Joshua Heschel, he teaches the highest ideal of all learning, to live in the image of God by igniting and keeping it lit. The divine light within, with love, inspiration, forgiveness, excitement, knowledge, and joy. And if it wasn't for Rabbi Paris, he's really been the glue in the background. He may not be in all the classes all the time, but he's been there. And he was very, very inspiring and encouraging and helping. After Rabbi Gelberman passed away, we weren't sure what we were going to do. We had no students. The day that Rabbi died, we had no students in the class on September 10th. School was starting. Class was going to start in a week. We had no students. And somehow it all came together, and we had a board. And at the memorial service, a man came in named John Mundy, and he gave a beautiful talk about his relationship with Rabbi Gelberman. And the next day I got a phone call from Rabbi Paris, and he said, you know, we'll never fill the shoes of Rabbi Gelberman, but maybe we can ask someone like John Mundy to come in, who had a relationship with him for many years. He was there when Rabbi Gelberman started that first interfaith seminary in 1981. So he called John, and the rest is history. Rabbi Paris started the new synagogue of Long Island, which was an idea that he had to bring in couples that have mixed marriages. Maybe one part of the couple, the family is Jewish, the other one is something else. And he had this vision of creating this big community of mixed interfaith families with children that would learn both religions, not just one religion, you know, both. And he addresses that, and he has a wonderful program for the youth. And I've attended his services, and they are just really moving and beautiful. I think, what more could I say? I'm just very honored that Guruji decided that you would be our honoree today. And I am really, my heart is just, you know, very warm right now. And I'm just delighted to introduce you to this wonderful group of ministers, Rabbi Stuart Paris.
Thank you, my dear friend Kathleen. That was probably the nicest introduction I have ever received in my entire life, and I really appreciate it. Guruji, namaste.
Namaste, namaste.
The God in me honors the God in you. You are extraordinary. My dear brother John, I think we're moving forward in a very, very good, orderly direction. Everything is wonderful. Students, past presidents, and my beautiful wife, Nina, get in here.
No.
Get in here, come on, come on, come on, come on. As I've said many times, this is my primary spiritual teacher. I won't talk very long, but I do want to tell just a couple of stories. When my wife was studying with Rabbi Gelberman to become an interfaith minister, she asked me to be a member of a study group. I had this thing for names and dates, and they needed some help with that.
It was pre-computer.
It was pre-computers. And I was with them, and every time I was with them and with Rabbi Gelberman, I cried. And at my wife's ordination at St. John the Divine on my birthday, January 17th, with Rabbi Gelberman officiating, when he touched my wife's head and anointed her, I wept. And the joy was just overwhelming. A couple of weeks later, I said to Enid, would you share your teacher with me? My teacher had passed away from the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, where I was studying, and she agreed. And as Kathleen told you, I went to Rabbi Gelberman. We met for about 6 hours. I told him my story. He told me his. And I said, I want to be your study partner and your student. And he said, only if you accept ordination. And I don't know where I got the chutzpah, but I said to him, I will accept ordination under one condition, and that is that you and I study together, because that's why I'm here to study with you. And for the next 20 years, we spoke every day, and we studied every Friday for about 6 hours in his favorite restaurant called the Four Seasons, which was on Columbus Avenue. It was a little luncheonette. It was remarkable to get to know him that well, to be that intimately involved with him. He cherished life. This was his greatest gift, and he lived life in joy. His mantra was, today, whatever may annoy, the word for me is joy, just simple joy. And this is after he lost his entire family, including his only child and his wife, and many brothers and sisters and his parents in Auschwitz. And he got stuck here. He actually came here to save them, and he got stuck here. And about 2 years or 3 years before he passed, he had written a book called 9 Lessons in Kabbalah, and we had run out of books, and we reprinted for him. And I asked him to write a dedication. And I want to read to you the dedication that he wrote, because I think it's a dedication that we can relive today as we honor his life, which is what we're doing. We are all an extension of Rabbi Gelberman, carrying forward the traditions that he lived by and that he taught us. He wrote the following: dedicated to my parents, to my first wife, Yolan, to my only daughter, Judith, all of whom perished in the Holocaust. Quote, those who are alive never die, close quote. I dedicated my whole life as a rabbi and as a person to continue their lives through me. Only their bodies were burned in the crematoria. Their souls continued to live through me. Joseph H. Gelberman, Chaim ben David Esther. And I would submit to you that that can be our dedication tonight. And each time we come together, Those who were truly alive never die. And Rabbi Gelbman, in fact, was truly alive, and he lives through us. As long as we live, he's alive. And as long as we carry on the tradition of turning on our light every day and then helping others find the light in them, he's with us. I'd like to read a prayer that I read every Shabbat. The topic of my little talk is harmony in the seminary. So I wanted this is about harmony. The prayer is to love and to care. And I think it applies to everybody on this Zoom meeting. Guruji, it certainly applies in your life to everybody you encounter. And it's a beautiful, beautiful prayer that I recite every Shabbat that applies to our seminary family. To love and to care, we thank you, O God, for our family, our seminary family, our family of men and women, and for what we mean and bring to one another. We are grateful for the bonds of loyalty and affection which sustain us and which keep us close to one another no matter how far apart we may be. We thank you for implanting within us a deep need for each other and for giving us the capacity to love and to care. Help us to be modest in our demands of one another, but generous in our giving to each other. May we never measure how much love or encouragement we offer. May we never count the times we forgive. Rather, may we always be grateful that we have one another and that we are able to express our love in acts of kindness. Keep us gentle in our speech. When we offer words of criticism, may they be chosen with care and spoken softly. May we waste no opportunity to speak words of sympathy, of appreciation, and of praise. Bless our wonderful seminary family and our families at home and the family of man and woman with health, happiness, and contentment. Above all, grant us the wisdom to build a joyous and peaceful home in which your spirit will always abide. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
One more thing, Rabbi Gelbman would never begin a teaching or any program without a song. So I think we need to begin with a song. It's not, are you ready? Are you ready? It's going to be another song. We're in difficult times right now with this pandemic. We're in transition in our nation. There's a lot of fear. And as Rabbi Gelbman taught us, fear is the greatest sin, because if we have fear, we don't have faith. And there's a wonderful prayer called the Adon Olam that we recite at the end of every service that we have. And the last line is a line that Rabbi loved. Adonai li velo ira. God is with me, I will not fear. And what he decided to do, as only Rabbi Gelbman could, he was also, Guruji, you know this, he was a bit of a yoga master, even though Swami Satchidananda asked him one day to stand on his head to demonstrate to the class how to do it. And he never could. And he went there and kept falling over, and he went to Swami afterwards and said, why do you make me stand on my head? You know I can't do it. And Swami said to my dear brother, I want to show everybody how not to stand on their head. In any event, he went to an ashram one day and he heard a melody that he felt was divine from the same source as God is with me, I will not fear. And I think we need to begin with that song. It's call and respond. Everybody can be muted, but please respond. Om Namah Shivaya. Respond. Om Namah Shivaya. Adonai li velo ira. Respond. Adonai li velo ira. As Rabbi said, when you sing with your entire body. So we act it out. We say Adonai li velo ira. Together. Adonai li velo ira. Again. Adonai God bless us all. God bless all of humankind. May God please care for those who are suffering, for those who have lost their jobs. Watch over those souls that have passed, that are back with God. Bless those families who have lost a dear one. Let them know the hole in the heart is caused because the love was there. And may God also bless each of us as we bring the message of Rabbi Gelbman to humankind by lighting our light every day and looking for that Messiah in each human being, because there's a fragment in us and there's a fragment in everybody we meet. And when the fragments come together, we will have peace on earth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Paris, for blessing us, the seminary, the world, for holding true to Rabbi Gelbman's light, for being the light, and all the work you do in the world. God bless you. Thank you. We now ask everyone to just quiet down, take a deep cleansing breath, go inward, and call forth the light of God, the light of the divine. Fill every cell of your being with love, love of self, love of each other, love of all God's creation. Now let that light emanate out to the cosmos. Imam Arif will open our harmony service with a call to prayer in the Islamic tradition. The call to prayer sounds from every minaret, from every mosque all over the world, 5 times a day, reminding Muslims to stop wherever they are, whatever they're doing, and come to pray. And if you've ever been in the Middle East and you've heard the sound of this, it is incredible. We are proud to call Imam Arif Huskic an alumni of All Faith Seminary International. He is the founder and president of Common Word Alliance Clergy Interfaith Organization and Ministry and Spirituality Centers for Humanity. Since the beginning of COVID, MASH has been holding live stream prayer services on Zoom and Facebook for the end of this pandemic and for the protection of all God's creatures everywhere. Imam Arif invites all religious and spiritual leaders, present company included, to join MASH on Fridays at 3 p.m. in praying for global healing and peace. I, Kathleen, Guruji, Rabbi, we have participated in these services and they are something very special. Imam Arif, my brother, my heart is singular, but I love you all. That's his favorite saying. Will you please now grace us with the call to prayer?
Yes, in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Thank you, Sister Reverend Susanna, for a wonderful introduction. And good evening to all of you. Salam, shalom, shanti, and peace. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, which means peace and the blessings from God be unto you all. It is an honor to be an alumni from All Faith Seminary International, and I thank you for organizing this program tonight. Reverend Dr. Kathleen Regan, Brother Guruji, and Reverend Susanna, Dr. Mundy, and every one of you. In time of our graduation, I wish I was able to see Honorable Rabbi, but due to his personal issues, he could not attend that. But hopefully I will be able some other time to see him and all of you together. I would not say much about Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. You already said, I learned from you. I never met the guy, but I only pray for his soul, that God rest him in peace for his life and dedication to humanity that we all now carry on. And this is our obligation. Being Muslim, Imam in Islamic faith, I'm pleased to be ordained as a Muslim by All Faith Seminary International, and continue. I will work with you in future and implement our souls wherever is needed to other people's soul in humanity. Greetings again to all of you, as I see Brother Reverend Lawrence and his beautiful wife, and all of you, we already know about each other. So those who doesn't know, I thank you, Reverend Susanna, for introducing me to them. I will first of all say in English the meaning of call to prayer, which we make 5 times daily in our ritual prayer in Arabic language. In English, the meaning of Allahu Akbar 4 times in tone means God is the greatest. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah means I testify that there is no God but Allah, in tone twice. Muhammadur Rasulullah, I testify that Muhammad is God's prophet, which we intone twice. Come to prayer, Hayya as-salah, come to prayer, come to salvation. Hayya ala falah, tones twice, come to security. God is the greatest, twice, Allahu Akbar, and La ilaha illallah, which means there is no God but Allah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الصلاة خير من النوم والصلاة خير من النوم
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Thank you for this opportunity and God bless you all.
Shukran. Shukran, Imam Arif. My soul soars every time I hear you do that.
Me too.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, let's give them a hand.
Thank you,
Just
thank you all.
beautiful. Little tears in my eyes. Now I'd like to introduce Reverend Natalia D. Resendez, an ordained interfaith minister for 12 years. She holds a master's degree in voice from the New England Conservatory. She is currently obtaining her master's from All Faith Seminary, exploring music as a universal expression of oneness. She is also a religious science practitioner and a director of spiritual living teaching chapter in Rhode Island. She will grace us with her presence and her light and her gift by singing El Shaddai. Reverend Natalia.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Susanna. I absolutely love this ethereal melody. Did a little research on it. A song written by Michael Card and John Thompson. And this, the chorus of this piece is the Hebrew melody, El Shaddai. El Shaddai, God Almighty. El Elyon, the Most High God. Na Adonai, O Lord. Erkamka, we will love you. I know that there are people present in this meeting that we're having together as interfaith ministers. And so when we are singing this chorus part, I invite you all to chime in on this part. So in the first verse is from the Hebrew, but it grew into having verses, this piece, that it came originally as a hymn totally in Hebrew. But then it grew verses. And that first verse is from the Hebrew Bible. And the second verse is from the Christian Bible. And the psalm came to great fame in oh my God, the Christian more than top 40 repertoire made famous by Amy Grant in the early 80s. And so back in one of our previous classes, there was a Bishop Mark D'Alessio who did a presentation on radical Christianity. And he referred to the Hebrew Bible and he referred to the Christian Bible. And then he suggested that there was an ongoing universal Bible or Testament and asked us what we thought might fall into that universal Bible. And people suggested things like the Gnostic texts of Thomas, A Course in Miracles, the New Thought religions, like religious science, divine science, and my new find that I just recently found through All Faith Seminary, Jewish science. And then, you know, as I was hearing Reverend Kathleen speak earlier at the beginning, oh my gosh, when you reminded me of Rabbi Gelberman's, and I did have the opportunity to know him, perhaps not as well as the people who went to All Faith Seminary, but I still did get to know him. And it was the greatest gift in my life to have met this great life that passed through our planet. And so I was thinking of, oh gosh, life, L-I-F-E, loving unconditionally, inspiring unconditionally, forgiving unconditionally, and being excited unconditionally. That's a new thought. I have to put that one into meditation tomorrow, like being excited unconditionally. And so I have these, I decided that I was kind of inspired to write a third verse. This first verse comes from the Hebrew Bible. The second verse comes from the Christian Bible. And the third verse, we're going to call it the Universal Testament. I've taken the liberty to write a few words in the text of that verse. And so here it is. And so I invite you to all mute yourselves and please join me on the chorus. Put this up here. You're still the same by the power of the name. Saved the son of Abraham. Power of your hand, turn the sea into dry land, to the outcast on her knees. You are the God who really sees, and by your light you set your children free. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, They just could not understand. Awesome work was done in cruelty of Messiah. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai. Each to age was insane. That the time of Christ is here. People see as the sunrise tree. Word contains the plan. We just yet don't understand. Gracias.
Thank you, Reverend Natalia. That was so lovely. Reverend Dr. Kathleen Regan is now going to explain the Living Interfaith Menorah, something very dear to the seminary, something created by Rabbi Gelberman. Kathleen?
Hi, everyone. I guess I get to do all the best parts. I got to introduce Rabbi Paris and now I'm doing this. So this gathering tonight, by the way, in Hindu terms, is not just a meeting. This is satsanga. And satsang is a spiritual gathering, including prayer, music, meditation, dance, reading the scriptures. And the thread that weaves this satsanga together is love, is harmony. So that's really what we're doing tonight. Swami Shivananda said that satsanga has a magnetic aura, a spiritual vibration and powerful currents of developed adepts that elevates the mind to magnanimous heights. As flame is enkindled by flame, so also heart catches fire from heart. The Interfaith Menorah came about when Rabbi Gelberman, he saw this image in a meditation. And he always talked about lighting every morning inside your heart. He said, light the menorah of your heart. Inside, deep inside, there's the cave of your heart, he would say. Put that light on, turn that light on every day, because when you turn that light on and you go out into the world, people see you shine. They experience the love and the joy from your heart. And he took the idea of the Interfaith Menorah from the Jewish menorah. And I'm going to show you a picture of what the original menorah looked like. And I hope that you could see it. Okay. So the center light here, okay, represents that divinity. It's the eternal light. And then the four lights on the left are different traditions, you know, the major religions, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism. And then the one on this side, again, you know, the Buddhism, Christianity, and so forth. But this is what he said. He said that the central column of the menorah represents the eternal light. It is the light that kindles and nurtures the lights of the other traditions. The Interfaith Menorah symbolizes that part of the eternal light that's in each faith, as only a part of God's wisdom is given to each religion. The message of this menorah is that in order to receive all the wisdom of God, to be fully illuminated, we must dialogue with each other, accept each other, and love each other. And in 1999, one of the students from Michigan heard Rabbi talk about this and saw this image. And she went home and she created a three-dimensional menorah made out of wood and carved the wood. And I think I saw the picture. I think Guruji put the picture up of the real menorah that's in wood. And each of the symbols are represented. Do you see that? And it's quite large. And ever since that student created this menorah, it has been used in every single graduation, for the retreats. It's been used in different services, and it's beautiful. And during the graduation, we always had our students light the menorah. It's just such an honor. But tonight, of course, we can't do that because we're all in our separate homes. So I thought it would be a great thing to go back to the original idea of the living menorah, which is what Rabbi Gelberman used to talk about all the time. We are the living menorah. And I thought it would be a really wonderful thing for many of our previous class presidents to come and light the menorah in honor of all their classmates and the alumni. And, you know, the class presidents need to be honored. They took on a big responsibility. They came forth, and the work that they did during their class year was so appreciated by the faculty and the classmates. And I thought this is a great way to honor them again. And it's just a real delight to see so many of you. I didn't have a chance to talk to you, but I see you all out there. So we're going to start tonight with, I'm going to introduce each of the ministers, and then they will light the menorah in a tradition that of a different tradition. So we're going to start tonight with myself, and I am going to light the eternal light. So I light this eternal light, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And I'm going to call on Reverend Susanna Macomb to light the next one. And I'll read a little bit about each minister before they light their menorah. Susanna is, by the way, thank you so much for all the work that you've done to pull this wonderful satsang together tonight. I know that Guruji appreciates everything you've done. I do. And I know that all the ministers do also. Susanna is an ordained minister. She went to the new seminary with Rabbi Gelberman, and then years later came to All Faiths in 2001, which is when I met her in our master's class. She is a peace advocate, an author, a speaker, and a counselor, and a good friend. Susanna? She is going to light.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen.
In the name of Sikhism.
I light this candle in the name of Sikhism. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
Jai Jinandra.
Thank you.
Satanam.
Okay, our next minister is Reverend Jeffrey Kaplan. He was the president of the class of 2008. And Jeffrey is a retired investor currently listening for his next calling. Well, he's also a family man, a householder, and a good friend. And he did serve on the Board of Trustees for, I guess, about 4 or 5 years from what I can remember. Reverend Jeffrey is going to turn the light on for Buddhism. Jeffrey?
If I could just say, I'm so grateful for my time with all faiths, the teachers, my classmates, Rabbi Stuart's wisdom. Rabbi Gelberman was my most trusted friend and advisor for the final 3 years that he spent in his earthly form here. Rabbi is a spiritual giant, only outweighed by his humility, and his teachings are with me every day. Satnam, Waheguru. I've been asked to light this candle in the name of the inner light taught to us by Buddha. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, our next minister is Reverend Nancy Omaha Boy. So good to see you, Nancy. She was the class president of 2016. Nancy is a teacher, a minister, and she spent 11 years on the Rosebud Reservation. And she was an excellent class president. And I am delighted to see her here. And she is going to light a candle in the name of all the indigenous and earth-based religions. Nancy?
Ashe, aho.
Honor all indigenous and earth traditions and religions, and to honor our wonderful program and all of you who unite in this spirit of love tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next president is Reverend Dr. John Crisco. He was the alumni president from 2015 to 18. And John is an ordained interfaith minister, and he received his Doctor of Divinity from All Faith Seminary. And I believe John is very involved with the interfaith community of New York, and a good friend of the seminary. He devoted a lot of time to the seminary, and it's an honor to see you sitting with us tonight. He's going to light the candle for Taoism.
If there's ever a time for East and West to meet, this is that time. I light this candle in the name of Taoism. God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
Thank you so much, John. Our next minister is Reverend Barbara Kephart. Barbara was the class president in the class of 2020, the class that everyone will always remember because it was the year of COVID, and we, for the first time in the history of the seminary, we had to hold the retreat and the graduation on Zoom. It was not easy. But Barbara was an excellent leader and held the class together, kept encouraging them. She's a retired nurse. She's a master gardener and a Reiki practitioner. Barbara?
I light this candle in the name of Judaism. God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Amen.
Thank you. Our next minister is Reverend Donald Kunze, class of 2015. Don was class president. He's a counselor, a writer, a speaker on science and spirituality. And for a number of years now, he has been a mentor to our students. He is a wonderful friend of the seminaries, a great counselor, great mentor, compassionate and wise. And he is going to light the candle for Christianity. Don? We can't hear you.
Now you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I would like to say that my journey was really influenced during the decade of the 90s when I was able to spend many, many hours with Archangel Gabriel, who taught for about 12 years. And so Christianity is very appropriate in terms of this candle. So I light this candle in the name of Christianity. And God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Thank you, Don. Reverend Salvatore Sapienza, class of 2012. Reverend Salvatore is currently the pastor of the Douglas United Church of Christ in Douglas, Michigan. He's also an author of a number of books, and I think even you did a film, I seem to remember. And you were an excellent class president. I have wonderful memories of us planning the retreat and meeting with you in diners and so forth. And you're even on our website.
I have wonderful memories too. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Kathleen.
You're welcome.
I light this candle in the name of Islam. God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Thank you. Our next minister is Reverend Terry Prem Lancaster, class of 2011. And look at that. He has his own Interfaith Menorah. Wow. Well, Reverend Terry actually is a friend of the person that created this menorah. And I guess that's where you got it from. And it's just a delight to see you again. And I know we're going to hear from you in a little while. He's going to chant something for us. But Terry's been involved with the interfaith community for many years. He teaches interfaith classes. He has a wonderful family, and he lived on an ashram for a number of years with his family, Mother's Trust Ashram in Michigan. And he's going to light a candle for us in the name of Hinduism. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much. And what an honor it is. And what an honor it was at Mother's Trust to be the interfaith minister and light this wonderful interfaith menorah every Sunday for 5 years. It was just a joy. So I'm going to light the candle for Hinduism. I light this candle in the name of Hinduism. God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Great.
Thank you, Swami Satchidananda.
Thank you. Reverend Andrea Windsor. Andrea Windsor was the class president of 2013. So good to see you. She is also the inspiration of the minister's manual that you all have and use. She was the first one to come up with the idea, and she did the first outline for it. I want you to know, Reverend Andrea, that we're up to 137 pages,
Oh, wow.
which I'd be happy to send you a copy of.
Oh, sure, I would love that.
Go ahead.
All right. I light this candle in the name of the Baha'i religion. God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Great. Thank you so much. And for our last candle, even though he was not a class president, he's the president of Peace Lights. Peter Rogina, very, very active in the interfaith community. He's worked with Guruji, and he's worked with Arif, and he's attended many of our classes now, and hopefully we'll see more of him in the future. But I would like you, before you light your candle in the name of Peace Lights, I would like you to just tell our audience a little bit about Peace Lights and how he's a teacher of peace education, and he's actually working with many countries in Africa so they could bring peace education to the countries that are still, in chaos and war. And he's doing tremendous work out there. He's an engineer, he's an artist, and he's worked with the UN. He's really dedicated to this work. Peter Rogina.
Very much. And it's wonderful to be here again.
You've got some feedback,
These
Pete.
lights
One
that
of
you
you
see,
is
if you go to gallery view, you see the lights flowing. And those lights are an increasingly recognized symbol of peace around the world. The colors represent the different cultures of the world, and the motion represents how those cultures interact and work together to achieve harmony and peace and good energy. You'll see the word Peace Lights in 55 different languages, and Peace Lights plays all over the world. It's played in churches, mosques, synagogues, ashrams, temples. It's played at so many interfaith events, and I have to thank and let everybody here know how special it is and how much of a family I feel blessed to be as part of this group. So Peace Lights started 5 years ago and has been associated now with an effort, as Kathleen said, to accelerate peace education in the African Union, globally, but in the African Union first, where they actually call for it. So we're actually working now in over 10 countries with volunteers who are organizing things, scores of people at this point. And maybe later I can show a 1.5 minute video in the schmooze or something like that of Peace Lights playing as a gesture of peace during the inauguration. But what Kathleen described as the meaning of the middle candle really, I think, rings true as to the vision of what Peace Lights would be, just a symbol of peace. Wherever Peace Lights plays around the world, people are encouraged to project their own thoughts and intents for peace into the lights. And it's been commented by so many people that there's an energy with these lights. And even before it was Peace Lights, people used to stop on the street and comment and say how those drapes, we used to call it, would have such good energy. So we are working on updating versions of Peace Lights with all the African languages, with more languages from different parts of the world. And we've had 2 people who are on this Zoom call right now help us to correct a couple of the languages that weren't exactly right, Guruji and Reverend TK Nakagaki. So I thank all of you again, and I light this candle in the name of Peace Lights, representing peace among people of all faiths and beliefs. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And if you go to the gallery view, you can see the light in the middle of Peace Lights. Thank you. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Peter. What was interesting was when you lit the light, the flame actually had the peace lights in it. It was wonderful. So this concludes the living menorah, everyone. And let's keep our light lit every day. Okay, we are a family of interfaith ministers and we serve the world. We light up as we go out there and share our love with everyone, healing. And I'm very, very honored to be here tonight with all of you. So peace to you. Reverend Susanna, I turn the program back over to you.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Kathleen. That was so beautiful. You know, every time we have these services, whether in person or on Zoom, and we do the Interfaith Menorah, so many people comment on how it truly affected them. And I just want to give a hand to our class presidents and our alumni. They are remarkable people. To be a minister means to serve. To be a minister means to serve. I'm now going to introduce somebody very special. Reverend Dr. John Mundy is the director of Miracle Study Program for All Faith Seminary International. He assisted Rabbi Gelberman in founding of the new seminary in 1980, the first seminary, interfaith seminary in the world. He is a lecturer, author of 10 books, including the perennial bestseller, Living A Course in Miracles. Dr. Helen Schumann, the scribe of A Course in Miracles, was John's counselor and friend. John is a mystic, a renowned teacher of A Course in Miracles, and one of the absolute jewels of this seminary. He also has a great sense of humor. And is just a wonderful human being. He's now going to speak on miracles and harmony. John?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good, thanks. Thank you, Reverend Suzanne and Reverend Kathleen and Guruji and Rabbi Gelberman. I want to thank Rabbi Gelberman, even though he's not here, but he's always here, right? I remember when we met in 1972, I was teaching at the New School University in New York City, and I was teaching a course on esoteric and mystical philosophies, and I need somebody who knew about the Kabbalah. I knew nothing about the Kabbalah. So a mutual friend knew Rabbi and told me about him, and I invited him, and he came, and we just became really good friends after that. I wound up speaking at the little synagogue, and then he came to my church, etc., back and forth, and it's been a wonderful adventure all along the way. I might add that he and my father were born the same year, and just as my father began to disappear from Alzheimer's, Rabbi came into my life, so it was sort of a nice thing to have happen. So just a word about harmony and A Course in Miracles. I just want to quote for you 3 or 4 sentences from the course and just talk a little bit about those, a couple minutes, and that'll be it. There's a line in the course which says, one brother is all brothers. One sister is all sisters. One mind contains all minds, for all minds are one. Such is the truth. One brother is all brothers. One mind contains all minds. We are all one. I was listening recently to a politician on television, won't say who, but this particular politician was talking about how Russia was our enemy and China was our enemy and Iran was our enemy. And I couldn't help but think, no, we have no enemies. There's no such thing as an enemy because we're all brothers and sisters. And if we can't begin to see that truth, that we are literally all connected, I think it's kind of like the DNA of the unit. It's holographic. We are all connected. And seeing how we are all connected, the only thing we can possibly do is to love one another. Just one final thought. The interesting definition of Jesus that appears in the Course in Miracles. It's very near the end. It says, Jesus was a man who saw the face of Christ in all of his brothers and sisters and remembered God. How did he become the Christ? By seeing the face of Christ in all brothers and sisters and remembering God. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Ashe and Aho. That was beautiful as always, Reverend Dr. John Mundy. Now I'd like to introduce our beloved Reverend Dr. Doris Mcgaffey. She received her doctorate from All Faith Seminary and serves on the Board of Trustees. She is founder and CEO of Dimensional Transformation Worldwide. I have always been impressed by Doris's deep understanding of Christianity, by her presence, as well as her extensive spiritual, interfaith, international outreach. Reverend Dr. Doris will read from Spiritual Truths, written by our founder, Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. Doris?
Very much, Susanna. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Thank you. The first is I'm grateful for voice, to being able to hear. Thank you, and to you and to Guruji, to Reverend Kathleen, and Rabbi Paris, and to the other ministers. Greetings. And I'm listening to the testimony of all of the ministers and the work and the beliefs, the faith, and the raising of consciousness in our universe. And when I came to All Faith in 2014, it really was an opportunity to expand my expression in the universe as the one power and presence, and to become the voice of that presence. And I've learned so much after joining the All Faith Seminary ministry and family, and becoming a greater presence in the universe and embodying the power and presence of Rabbi Gelberman. I found it amazing that day 3 of Spiritual Truth speaks about courage. The title is Live Courageously. And no matter what experiences we encounter, it is our expression of courage that helps us to fulfill our intention and to be that which we were created to become. So I will share with you this reading, Live Courageously, for day 3. It says, courage, like art, demand practice. No challenge need dismay us. If we practice trusting life, we become equipped with the resources we need to overcome the tyranny of fear that claims our joy. We all basically need is to start with one gesture of faith as a token of this acceptance. Each little act strengthens the next. Courage is confidence and security, which we build into ourselves by accepting challenges, gradually giving up our dependencies and becoming our new and welcoming our new adventures to test out our growth. Courage requires the wisdom not to thrash around along with frantic stoicism, but rather to build with which the master builds. The quote from H.M. Tomlinson says, "Courage in strife is common enough, but the courage which can face the ultimate defeat of a life of goodwill, that is different." Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Doris. Beautiful as always. Thank you. Thank you. Reverend Larry Schwartz, lifelong student of yoga and Eastern philosophy, was ordained in 2011 and has been the media manager for All Faith Seminary International ever since. Personally, I think of him as the poet laureate of the seminary. His poem, Namaskar, which he will now read, is read at every ordination at the seminary. Larry?
Thank you. It's interesting. It occurs to me, namaste, which is the greeting, and namaskar, which is the act of honoring or bowing to, in the Hindu tradition is used for both hello and goodbye, both openings and closings. And usually I'm asked to read this at openings, and this time it's more towards the end, so it seems very appropriate, again, as a closing namaste. And it has been mentioned before. I'm going to put myself back on gallery view. Just give me a second. Okay, it has been mentioned before that namaste means I honor the divinity within you. And it is, I bow to or I honor. And in the Hindu tradition, anytime that you honor an other, you are really honoring that same divinity that you recognize in yourself and you recognize in all other things. And this poem is about, what are we talking about when we say we honor that divinity? And it sort of answers that question. Namaskar. I bow to the source of all. I bow to the one Lord of the universe who is beyond all names and forms, yet is worshipped by many in many different names and forms. I bow to the one true God who is beyond all religions, yet is at the root of all religions. I bow to the one who knows, no matter what names are used, who he is, who she is, who it is, who I am, who all are, yet who is not fully known by any one human category and cannot be fully known by any of them. I bow to the one known as creator, sustainer, father, destroyer, mother, savior, regenerator, and cosmic dancer. All creation is your dance. All dramas are your play. All beliefs are ideas within you. Without the dancer, there is no dance. I bow to the one consciousness pervading all, which contains all our limited forms of consciousness, and without whom all would be unconscious. I bow to the one whose laws are impossible to break. The laws of nature are your laws. The laws of science are your laws. All action takes place within your laws. All other laws are but diluted echoes of the idea underlying this conscious, ongoing creation. I bow to the truth. Namaskar.
I'm going to jump in here. Larry, thank you so much. You know, every time I hear you recite this poem, I hear something else. I see another visual. It's a masterpiece. I want you to know that. I just think it's just so beautiful.
From the source, what can I say?
Really beautiful. Thank you.
It is. It is. God comes through, Larry, and these words just flow out in poetry. That's why I call them the poet laureate of the seminary. He really is. And we get chills every time we hear that poem. So thank you, Larry. Before I introduce Reverend Tamar Schwartz, Larry's wife, I'm going to ask everyone to take just a moment of silent prayer. Her father had quadruple bypass surgery this morning. So please, everyone, let us pray for his healing, that he heal perfectly in divine order and quickly. Let us envision him being held in the hands of God, filled with light, being restored to perfect health. Amen.
Amen.
Reverend Tamar Schwartz has been with the seminary for as long as Reverend Larry, attending every class and event by his side. They are an inspiring example of the beauty of a spiritual marriage. Together they own IP Books. So it is most appropriate that Reverend Tamar will tell us a story titled, "We Are All the Children of One Father." And we invite you all to follow her hand movements with your own hands. Reverend Tamar.
Thank you. This is a prayer for peace with hand movements. The Lord created the heavens and the earth and the mountain tops and the fish swimming in the sea and the birds flying in the air and the animals leaping on the face of the earth. But why is it that one man should kill another man? Are we not all brothers and sisters? We are all the children of one. Thank you.
Amen.
I love that so much. Thank you, Reverend Tamar. Kathleen already introduced Reverend Terry Prem Lancaster, so I'm not going to tell his bio. Premji will now grace us with a Hindu chant, a sloka, which is a couplet in Sanskrit, which calls for harmony and blessing for all creation. And Prem, you can say whatever you want about it as well. Premji?
Yeah, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Susanna.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
So-
thank you for bringing the Interfaith Menorah.
Oh, well, and I have to give all the thanks to George and Dana Blaze Stroba, who create these menorahs, and they've made all of them. I think there's only about a dozen that they made, and this was the very last one that she made. They're well into they're about 80 now, so I don't know how many more they're gonna make. Someone needs to pick up the mantle. Maybe I'll have to get a wood shop, start making. But as far as I know, as it is, this is the last one. But and they live just south of Ganges. There is a Ganges, Michigan, where I spent, well, over 20 years being involved in an ashram there that grew out of the Vedanta Society. So it's also a ashram dedicated to Sri Ramakrishna, Saradevi, and the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. Over multiple decades, I got to learn from so many wonderful teachers from India that would pass through. And even though I was not born in this tradition, I've grown to love it with all my heart. So I'd like to share this peace chant, dedicated to all beings and all lokas everywhere in this universe and all the universes. May all beings everywhere find peace, find joy, and find freedom. You know, this audio quality is untested. My computer is not great, so we'll see how this sounds. Maybe, you know, you can always mute me. Can you hear the harmonium? You can't see it, but can you hear it?
Yes.
Is it really loud? Too
Yes.
loud?
No.
I just don't want to crack. Okay. Shanti Om. Many I lead kirtanas through Michigan, and a lot of these prayers are saying call and response, but I'm just going to do it all together. So Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti Om. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti Om 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 Shanti Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti Om 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 Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti Om 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti 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 Namaste. Thank you.
Prem, I just went into a
Wonderful
trance.
opportunity.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. Before I ask Rabbi Paris for the final benediction to close the service, I need to go on gallery view and I need a show of hands. We're running late, 8:48. The plan was Rabbi Paris, our guest of honor, president, would do the final benediction, and then we'd have a 2-minute peace lights break where everybody can get up, get a cup of tea, stretch, and then we'd have holy schmooze. Everybody unmute and share and talk and connect. Who is up to staying? Hands up or hands down? Okay, good, wonderful. Okay, so I need to see Rabbi Paris's wonderful face and his beautiful wife. There you are. Hi, Rabbi Paris. Hi, Reverend Anita. Thank you so much for being our guest of honor, for all that you do for the seminary, for bearing the light, continuing the light of Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. We ask you, at the beginning, you blessed our service and you blessed the seminary, past, present, and future. Now we ask that you please bestow us with a closing benediction.
Thank you, Susanna. This is very inspiring, everybody. Reverend Kathleen, Susanna, Guruji, all who were responsible for this, I applaud you. It's wonderful. Well done. Before the closing benediction, I just want to lead in honor of Rabbi Gelberman, I want to lead a Jewish chant. It'll be very brief. And here it is. The 6 most important words in all of Torah, as Rabbi Gelberman taught us in the 5th book of Torah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Listen, O Israel, listen, O humankind. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. As Rabbi Gelberman taught us all, if there is one God, and we are all the children of that one God, what does that make us to one another?
Brothers and
sisters and family and one people. And if this pandemic teaches us anything, that's it. There are no boundaries, there's no rich, there's no poor, there's no color, there's no sexual preference, there's nothing. It attacks everybody, and we need to attack it together as humankind. That's the message from God to us. So, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, O Israel, listen, O humankind. The Lord is our God. The Lord is one. Our closing benediction also comes from Torah. We hold our hands like this. I invite you all to do that. This is the priestly benediction. I invite you to make eye contact if you can with one special person on this Zoom, or more than one if you can, facing one another. I will do the Hebrew, my beautiful wife English will respond with the Enid, will respond with the English.
May God bless you and keep you. May God's presence shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God's presence be with you and grant you peace.
May God grant all humankind peace, peace, peace. Guruji, you did that so well. You're probably a Kohen in a prior life. Thank you, Susanna. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi Paris. That is beautiful. So everyone, you see the peace lights there with the beautiful candle. We're just going to focus on that 2 minutes. Get up, stretch, take a break, get a cup of tea, a glass of water, and we'll see you back in 2 minutes exactly. God bless you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, Lily.
see you tomorrow night. Love this. It was wonderful.
Oh, good.
I love the idea of holy schmooze, but I'm going to have to pass this evening.
Pressure tomorrow, please.
See you tomorrow. Be well. Tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Greetings to all of you from Michigan. Have a good night and God bless you today and every day.
Thank
Amen.
you.
Everybody be well.
Arif.
Rabbi, we have 1,250 people are watching the program now.
How many?
1,250 people
Wow,
around from different countries.
that's beautiful. It's because of you, Guruji.
It's happening.
They came to see you, my friend.
That's why
Yeah. So Rabbi, what happened was Guruji, because of COVID, started live streaming his services. And we had one for New Year's and over 3,000 people viewed, over
Wow.
3,000. And then we had a service right before inauguration and about over 2,600 and growing.
Right.
So when Guruji came to us and said he wanted to highlight, do one for the seminary live stream, I said to Kathleen, we have to do this. Because, you know, as he said, we're already having, you know, 1,200, but it will grow because it stays on
Yeah.
Facebook. And I spoke to Fran and she's going to put it on the website.
Beautiful. I would recommend something, Suzanne. If you could prepare a list of each of us who actually perform services with the Zoom instructions and the dates and the times,
Right.
I think it would be great if we supported one another.
Yes. Well, our hope is we keep doing this and we also support one another doing this, get the word out, form a community and a community that helps each other. It'd be wonderful.
Now current number is over 1,300 people and plus us. We are around 30 people are here. Some people left earlier. So that is over 1,400 people.
Yeah, we had about 41 at one point. Some people left on Zoom.
Is this a board meeting or a committee meeting? I
No,
thought,
that's the schmooze. Just
oh,
to talk and ask any questions you
Yeah.
have.
Has 2
If
minutes gone
anything-
up yet? We're not up to 2 minutes yet.
Oh,
In 2 minutes, everybody's going to be unmuted and we're going to have holy schmooze, which is
All right.
soulful listen and talk. And we're going to put a theme out there, which will be interfaith harmony, interfaith ministry.
Can I just say before I go that this was such a blessing for me, and I'm sure everybody who attended. And Rabbi Paris, you hold a special place in my heart. You might remember me hanging out with Rabbi in the last couple of years of his life. And you would call every day. And I'll never forget when you first came into our classroom and shared your experience meeting Rabbi, and you cried again. And you really touched my heart. For the people here that don't know me, I just want to thank you for being part of this universal shift that Rabbi and Swami Satchidananda and all the beautiful people who have gathered together and his life. Yeah, so I'm grateful for all of it, and I continue to walk in his light, and called to do whatever I am from above. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Yeah, it was so good to see you.
Thank you, Rabbi Paris. I love you dearly.
Kathleen.
Yes, yes.
Kathleen.
God bless you. Ashe.
I have an announcement for this Sunday.
Okay.
We have our Interfaith 36th annual World Interfaith Festival, the same Zoom link and the passcode. And Rabbi will be one of the religious leader to do the service there. and other people are joining. I'm making a list tomorrow. Every day is event, so I cannot focus on one thing. So please join this from 10 a.m. New York time to 1 p.m. Thereafter, we are planning to have an open mic that may go longer. So everybody get a chance to speak at least few words.
I'll be there, Guruji.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Has it been 2 minutes, Guruji?
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
Oh, done.
Keeping time. Hi, David Henderson. David, if you heard Imam Arif, right?
Yes. Yes.
David, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, serves as secretary on his, it was at least one of his organizations, correct?
Common Word Alliance, yes.
And David is Baha'i.
Yes.
And Kathleen, this is David.
Yes, when I saw his name, then I remember seeing you, David, on the Friday afternoon prayer, services that Arif does. So we'll have to talk. We'll talk. Yes.
Yeah. David may be teaching a class on Baha'i for all faiths. And he has a beautiful presence and he's very knowledgeable.
As long as I'm being highlighted right now, I must take a moment to give my thanks to each one of you who have offered such a rich evening. It's filled my heart with joy and peace and excitement, that unconditional excitement that we talk about. Each one of you is just so filled with oh gosh, thank you, God, for having created each one of you. Oh,
love.
Thank you, David. So good to have you with us.
I have to
Kathleen, wasn't I right about David?
Yes, absolutely. I remember you now. I didn't connect the name with the face, but I've seen you a number of times on the Zoom events.
I have to ask Natalia, is this, let's see, can you see my cell phone? No, you can't.
No, it's peekaboo.
Oh my
Is that the music book you were using?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I can just prove it to you.
Let's see. Synchronicity.
I looked it up so that I can order it and get your music.
Thank you, Natalia. That's so great.
That's it. And then, where is it? I misplaced it, but Reverend Kathleen had sent me a copy of the original hymn that was hymn number 123 in a Jewish prayer book.
No, but you didn't even see them this way.
Okay.
Here a minute ago, it disappeared. But yes, that is the one that I played from.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So I think everyone could unmute now. Can everyone unmute themselves, or does Guruji have to do it?
We can do it.
I just unmuted myself, and it's so nice to see some familiar faces.
Everyone unmute.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Reverend Elizabeth. Oh. Holy Schmooze was something Rabbi did every week sometimes, and he would throw out a theme. Remember, like love or kind or something, a theme, and we'd all talk about it. Someone is playing music. Sorry. Can someone shut that off?
Rebecca.
Someone is playing music. Okay, thank you. So we're going to throw out the theme of Interfaith Ministry, Interfaith Harmony. You can raise your hands, share what Interfaith Ministry is meant to you. Share a little bit what you're doing with your ministry, what being in the seminary meant to you, or how you got there. Just go what your soul feels you to share. And also, those who are new to our community, ask questions, introduce yourselves. We'd like to get to know you.
I think everybody is.
Straight.
Anybody want to go?
I'll go first.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sal. I graduated in 2012, and I live in Michigan. And I shared this story with some of you before, but I just love telling it. So kind of like Susanna said that Rabbi Gellerman said to her, you know, why do I want to be an interfaith minister? And I really didn't know why I was searching for an interfaith seminary, but I was. And when I was looking online, there were so many of them at that point, and some of them had really slick brochures and really cool websites. And then I found All Faith Seminary International, and there was just something about seeing Rabbi Gelberman's photo that it just drew me. Now, he had, at that point, that was the year before he had made his transition, but I just felt that presence from looking at that picture of him. And that year that I attended the seminary was the first year where he you know, had made his transition before then. But boy, I felt his presence. Absolutely. I really do. For those of you who got to know him in physical form, how blessed you are. But I still to this day feel his presence. But when I called, I got Reverend Kathleen when I called to inquire about the class. And she said, oh, one of our students right now lives right by you in Michigan. And that was Terry Prem Lancaster. And so I got to meet Prem, and we have since then become brothers and have done many events and things together here at Mother's Trust Ashram and here in West Michigan. And Prem, I miss you so much.
Miss you too, Sal.
We haven't been able to be together because of COVID. But so when I went to that very first class, I was standing on the subway platform and I had the address of the class, and it was 123 4th Street. So I was looking at the address in my hand, 123 4th Street. And I was on the 789 train, and the date was 9/10/11. And I just said, all is in divine order. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what drew me here, but I'm here. And after I graduated, I thought, well, I don't really know what I want to do with this, but boy, I'm so grateful to have had this experience. Well, that was 2012. In 2014, I became the pastor of a Christian church, which totally surprised me as well. But I became the pastor of a United Church of Christ church here in Michigan. And when I started that first Sunday, there were less than 30 people in attendance. And now we have more than 250 members.
Wow, bravo, that's incredible.
And when I ask people when they join the church what it is about it, they say, because you draw from other traditions other than Christianity. And they love that, and it speaks to them. And so many of them say, you know, I grew up in the Christian church and I never really quite got the teachings of Jesus until the way you explain it with the interfaith perspective. And so that's what I'm doing with my interfaith ministry. When I came to the United Church of Christ, the United Church of Christ is a denomination of about 5,000 churches in the United States. And they had never had someone before who was an interfaith minister. So they weren't quite sure what to do with me at first, but since then I have been warmly embraced in the denomination, and now I have what's called dual standing. So I get to stand as an interfaith minister, but also I am considered an ordained UCC minister as well. So thank you for letting me share. I will say one quick thing, if it's okay. When Prem and I were doing some programs at Mother's Trust, I did a presentation on Father Michael Judge. When I was a young man in New York City, I worked with Father Michael Judge, who many of you know was the priest who died on 9/11. And so I was looking online for pictures of Father Michael to use at my presentation, and I found a picture of him with Rabbi Gelberman. And I had no idea that the two of them knew each other, but I have the picture. It stays on my meditation table. I don't know.
Wow.
Look at that.
But-
Wow.
Wow.
So there's Rabbi Gelberman on the end, and there's Father Michael.
Wow.
So,
Fantastic.
so I keep that on my meditation table, and I feel their presence every time I pray.
That's great. Thank you
Such
so
a
much,
wonderful
Sal. It's so great
story.
to see
Thank you.
So great to see you and have you with us tonight.
Same here. Thank you. I remember, Kathleen, us sitting in that diner in Howard Beach, working on the retreat.
Yes, I remember too.
What a
Okay.
beautiful story. Sal, thank you so much for your presence, for all that you're doing. Now we know we have 3 people from Michigan here at least. And thank you. It's just, you know, with God, I always tell the seminary students, God knows exactly your talents. God knows what you're meant to do. You don't need to know. It will be revealed to you. You'll be called. And in ways you never expected. I'm sure you never expected to be a pastor of a Christian church.
Never. Never.
So it's wonderful.
And
Any other person?
I was going to say, Rabbi Paris, I see your wife is waving her hand, but I do. The full chair also sits on my meditation stand as well, and I refer to it as a very special gift.
Oh, beautiful.
You're a very
Beautiful.
Susanna, I wanted to respond to what you said, because when I went to meet Rabbi Gelberman, I didn't know it was a seminary. I thought it was just to study comparative religion. And when I got there, apartment, he at that point, Stuart was with me, and he told Stuart to go away, Rabbi Stuart to go away. And so I was ordained in 1998. And when I see everybody here, I feel like that was like forever ago. But
I was ordained 1996.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know until I was involved in the seminary for about 2 months that there was going to be an ordination. And because if I had known, I probably would have been intimidated and not gone, you know, so it was really kind of a miracle because I was so ensconced and so in love at that point that I said, oh, well, I'll just put it in the drawer. You know, I didn't have any intention of ever using it. I'll put it in the drawer. And the first wedding I ever did for a friend of my daughter's, and they had to beg me to do it. Martha Stewart she was very, very involved in the wedding, and they put it on television. That was my first experience doing a wedding. I was so nervous because I was so intimidated about making out the marriage license. Because one of my friends made it out for Rabbi Gelberman one time, and she made it out wrong.
And you can't make mistakes. You're not supposed to make mistakes.
So that's what I was so nervous about. And my father called me and he said, I just saw you on television. And that was my first wedding. And of course,
The
because
first one, amazing.
first one. And so basically, at this point, I work with the interfaith community of Long Island, just as an advisor. And so that's we have an interfaith campus with a Muslim group and the Christian church that's there, and Rabbi Paris's synagogue, and also what else? Oh, the Interfaith Community of Long Island calls that home also. So it's
Wonderful.
one place for all of us, and everyone comes to each other's events and services. Of course, not this year, we're doing it all on Zoom. And that was how I introduced my husband to Rabbi Gelderman.
I love the story of how you say it was miraculous, because that's how we most of us feel how it happened, but also how nervous you were. Because I remember too, we were so nervous, because why? There's a part of us, not only we don't feel ready, we don't feel worthy. Like, what are we doing? Are we clergy? You know, and the lesson in it is that we don't do it.
That's right. Because
we don't do it.
Well, what we do is we follow the direction. We don't say. So when I got to Rabbi, I said to him, you know, I don't really think this is the right time for me. And I had told my husband that, you know, I think I'm going to tell him I'm not quite ready. And when I was carrying about a load of books, and he said, "What are you doing with all those books? I thought you weren't going to do it." But that was Rabbi Gelderman, very influential.
Very. He used to say something I love. He used to say, "I'm a gatherer of beautiful people." I'm a gatherer of beautiful people. He said, "I collect them." So wonderful, beautiful. Anybody else want to share?
He believed, Rabbi Gelderman believed he was in the tradition of Martin Buber, who would say, and Rabbi said it many times, there are two kinds of people in this world. There are my friends, and there are those who are waiting to be my friends.
Oh,
I love that.
I love that.
Somebody's got their hand up there. John, was it John?
Elizabeth Levy.
No, it's Beth Levy.
Quick, I just want to say hello to all of you and say how much it is to see some familiar faces and to meet new ones, and it's just with an excellent service.
Oh, Elizabeth, tell everybody when you were ordained.
I was ordained in 1987 with Rabbi Gelderman Seminary.
Yeah, that's so old.
And I grew into my ministry because I was questioning, well, what should my ministry be? What should my ministry be? And a wedding fell into my lap from a friend of a relative of mine. And I was so excited. That was during the harmonic convergence, I think 1980.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, August. And then it grew, you know, I was so inspired by Reverend Tom Downs when he talked about the animals.
Remember?
Setting to you and come up to you when you were going through something. And I never forgot that. And then it just grew, the animal ministry. And now I'm involved in helping to save and place animals and pets, rescuing them and indirectly, virtually. And there's a crisis with the animal care and control and in Manhattan. They really need to place their animals quickly. And so anybody here, just keep an eye out, pray, put them in your prayers tonight. And then also developed into the dance, the belly dancing and the spiritual dancing. And I'm involved now in sacred dance. And I might be teaching belly dance online at the senior centers. So it's just, you know, blossoming. And I never thought I would end up doing these kinds of things.
She was doing sacred dance here at a church in the West Village where I live, but now everything's on Zoom. So
yeah, so it's wonderful to see you all. I knew, let's see, Stuart Paris, and his wife, and John Mundy, and Winifred Catapult, and Kathleen Regan, And there's some other names that I ran across. Is there an Alan Strait? Is that
Yeah.
name ring?
Yeah.
Because there were you and
Yeah.
Al. Strait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Al was here earlier. I had invited him. He was here for the earlier part of today.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your light. Maybe can we hear more from the class presidents, maybe?
I'll say something. Can you?
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. This was such a wonderful treat tonight. Thank you all. It's just beautiful. And I have such wonderful memories of my year. I live in Pennsylvania, so I was taking the bus up to New York for the weekend for the course. And every time I was on the bus, I would sit next to somebody from a different country. And I would talk to them the entire 2 hours. And we had just the most wonderful, it was just so exciting to see who I was going to meet next. And of course, it fit right in with Rabbi Gelberman and his whole understanding. I mean, people from Honduras, from Somalia, from I had no idea there was such a diverse community here in my area of Pennsylvania. So everything that year was so spectacular. And to this day, I'm involved with 5 of my classmates or other people from other classes in A Course in Miracles group. We're in our second, third year, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, that's great. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
it's really wonderful to have seen.
Wonderful.
Didn't feel so much at home, and so glad to see all of you. It's
Home, right? This is like coming back home, Nancy.
Exactly.
This is, by the way, I want to hear from you because we were thinking we want to do certain things. We were thinking of just reinstating Holy Schmooze, where we just do this.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Or reinstating services where all the, interfaith ministers can come and offer their gifts. But more on that.
Yeah, that's
anyone else?
Yeah, it is, especially while we're all sitting here,
right,
isolated.
Yeah, in fact, this is the highlight of the whole COVID, that we're able to be together like this. I said to Susanna today, I said, if we were in Manhattan in a live setting, everyone would have canceled because of the snow.
Right, because of the snow.
And all our work and all our planning would have been, that would have.
I wouldn't have canceled.
Wow. Yeah, wonderful.
And also, we are now open to the world. We're open to the world. Like Guruji said, at one point during the service, we had over 1,200 people watching.
Wow.
1,200. And after this recording, I'm going to be posting it on other spiritual sites and on our website. It'll go up. It could go to 3,000 easily.
Sure.
We couldn't do that. Like Kathleen said, this is the blessing.
Yeah,
of COVID.
There's no way we could have done this live, unless we did both, Which I think when the COVID is over and people, are going back to being together again, I think that there'll still be a part of this that will never go away.
Yes.
I think that people will start using this platform forever, but maybe doing both,
Right.
I have an update, over 1,500 people.
See that?
Yeah.
Even now, even before COVID, during certain services, I've done weddings and baby blessings and funerals where even though it was in person, Kathleen, they would webcam in from all over the world.
Right.
Because not all family could come from Iran, for example, or from, California. They, so they would webcam in.
Wow. Cool.
So this is where I think, I agree with Kathleen, a part of this is going to stay.
Yeah.
It's going to stay.
I think Reverend Doris.
We have Blessed Larry. Anyone else want to share what they're doing with their
Go ahead,
ministry
Doris.
or their experience?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would like to share my experiences. I was very blessed to discover All Faith Seminary in a Unity magazine. My years of study in the Unity movement had led me to a place where I had been guided to go farther and expand. The Unity movement is rooted in, founded in the consciousness of one, all faiths coming together as a Sunday afternoon study group. But it has expanded to become more of a church format and studying the spiritual principles and laws and unity principles and traditionally the study from the Bible. Yet it incorporates many of the practices from other traditions in its worship service and encourages us in our daily practice to incorporate them as well. But I had moved to a place after being in Unity for so many years that there must have been more to study and take, to study more about the religions of the world at a more deeper level. And when I found in the Unity magazine, All Faith Seminary, what really struck me was never instead of, always in addition to. And it said to me that that was the world in which we live. It was the world in which I wanted to live, to learn more, not only about the cultures of the world, because I love traveling internationally, and one of the things that I do always is to learn about the people. But when you learn about the people, you begin to learn about the religions, how they worship, the values that they have, the mores. So how can I take that different into my spiritual practice and share more about it? So I enrolled in All Faith Seminary in 2014 to study to become an interfaith minister. And of course, what you learn is what you learn in class, and to some degree, the practice that you have, because one of the things that we learn in our year of study to become a minister is to go into the field and touch the people, to practice. And in the Unity movement, it always says that there is the thought, there is the word, but it is the practice that raises consciousness and expands the consciousness in the world. So I could learn about other traditions of the world, but how is it that we practice? We practice those traditions. And the next part of that is, once I thought that I had it all down pat, I graduated, became the ordained minister. And then when I came home, and it's like, okay, so how do I really do this? You know, how do I really go out in the world, and how do I expand? And then the idea was, how do you develop relationships? How do you create bonds and create partnerships and collaborations and forums where you can introduce the idea and encourage people to consider different ways of being, to learn about their neighbor, to embrace other cultures, to embrace, not necessarily to give your religion away, but as the themes say, never instead of, but always in
addition to.
Yes. But now what has happened after I learned and received the practitioner, someone to show me how in a much greater sense, I have been to Korea. I have participated in the International Interfaith Training Program in Seoul, Korea. I attended the Parliament of World Religions, and that is really an expansion of all of the religions of the world who come together, and you learn, and it's just a fantastic experience there. Guruji was there for that experience, and Rabbi Kathleen, and several others of the All Faith Seminary graduates was there as well. And recently I had the opportunity to go to Jerusalem and participate in the Elijah Interfaith Institute, which was an experience with individuals from all over the world who come to study. And the theme of studying the year that I was there was friendship. How do we create friendship from the basis of our faith? The theme was our faith informs our friendship, which was a phenomenal experience. And locally, I was a part of creating what we call our beloved community interfaith network in Prince George's County, Maryland. We also, I also participate in a Interfaith Clergy Association of Southern Maryland. We have more of the faith traditions where we create groups and have dialogues around how we learn and study with each other. So it has been an amazing journey. It has been an amazing journey, and I am so grateful for the gift of attending All Faith Seminary. And one of the things that I've had the opportunity to give back to All Faith Seminary by serving as a member of the Board of Trustees, by participating in the in our Alumni Association. And I offered the idea to organize and develop an awards program for Rabbi Gelberman. And the Alumni Association said, yep, that's a great idea, let's do it. And we did. And the awards program recognizes and honors All Faith Seminary graduates who embodies the essence of Rabbi Gelberman in their spiritual practice. This is how Rabbi Gelberman practiced. This is how I practice. So we've become one. My vision was that we would not only recognize All Faith Seminary graduates, but we would expand our ceremony to recognizing individuals from other faiths, because that was Rabbi Gelberman's path. Wherever I have gone and I talked about All Faith Seminary, I mentioned the name of Rabbi Gelberman, everybody knows him. So it's like, that's a wonderful thing, to bring all of that energy together and recognize not only those who study, but those who walked, who traveled another path on the interstate, but yet combined in terms of their whole goal and effort. So thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Thank you. John Mundy,
What?
I just want to give you an opportunity to talk a little. John, heads the Course in Miracles Studies program. You can get an advanced, it's the only seminary, by the way, where you can get an advanced degree with a focus in A Course in Miracles, which John is, a renowned teacher. John, wouldn't you say that when you study, John was a Methodist pastor for 25 years. He had an interfaith church, and he's written so many books on mysticism from all the world's traditions. He's a seeker. He's traveled the world. But I would just put it out there, John. What do you think that when you study the different religions, you fall in love with them?
Of course
Do you agree with me on that?
Oh, absolutely. How could you not?
Right.
By the way, I think that one of the best things I ever did was to place that ad in that magazine.
Absolutely, because I'm here.
Right. That was actually the only year we did put an ad in that magazine.
That's right.
It was just for Doris.
Yeah.
We caught the right fish, didn't we?
God works in mysterious ways. John
There you
works in
go.
mysterious
It's
ways.
the right thing.
Well, the fish was certainly hungry for the bait.
Right.
Thank you, Doris. It was really great hearing your story and very inspirational.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to share?
I would like to share something, if I might, unless somebody else would like to go.
I have a.
Okay.
thing, I'll talk about something that I've been up to. This is Don Kunze. As Kathleen mentioned, I'm kind of interested in science and spirituality. And it's amazing, once you start thinking about something, how things pop up all the time that you never heard of. There's the International Society of Science and Religion out of England. And it had today its annual Boyle Lecture, which first one was given in 1692.
Wow.
And it was all based on, then it was the natural sciences, or just the very beginning of really the scientific revolution. And they've carried these off pretty much very irregularly. But the one this year, which was given today, was on rediscovering the nature of contemplation through science. And that connection was given by one of the professors at York University there. So it's just an example of various areas that bring science and religion and spirituality together that you never heard of until you sort of get a little focus on them. Another thing that I've been doing, which is, I probably need a lot of John Mundy's help on this thing here, is trying to get the teachings that have come in, which I call more modern revelationary teachings,
right,
as part of domestic universities' religious programs. So much is studied about, the old scriptures and so forth, but there's a lot of new scriptures, like A Course in Miracles, that comes out. Why not have that part of an integrated study at a university that teaches religious studies, and even at some of the more liberal seminaries? So that's a project that I'm also working on, which I've been able to meet some interesting professors from around the country, because I've been able to identify ones who are teaching in these areas here. Just a couple areas that have been my interest. Now you can have it.
That's wonderful, Don.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that up. That's good work.
It's a challenging work. Quick little comment on that. I was talking to a recent graduate of a seminary, which I won't mention the name of, and I was talking about this idea. And I said, are there any professors at the university there that would be open to have an open discussion on this? And without hesitation, the answer was no.
That was going to be my question to you. How receptive are they? You just answered it.
Well, the real conservatives, you got to work your way in, I think ultimately what you have to do is find a way to endow a chair that they would like the money, see?
Yeah.
And they'd be more willing to do it. But anyway, that's.
Laura, did you raise your hand? You're muted.
I know. Thank you. Now I'm unmuted.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see everybody.
Nice to
Hi,
see you.
Laura.
Hi. I just sent a little text saying that John Crisco just called me to say his power went out. And so that's why he disappeared. So sorry for disappearing, and nice to see everyone and nice to participate. And he also asked that I share that he and I have sort of been sporadically doing these guided meditations every now and again that have been quite lovely. We're doing one this Saturday in honor of Imbolc, which is one of the four corners of the year, the halfway point between the solstice and the equinox. So that's what we've been up to. And my ministry in another form is that I'm one of a 4-pastor team for the Unity Church in Boston called Unity in the City. So
great.
I'm now online on YouTube. You can look me up and you can hear me preach. It's a modern world. My last sermon was delivered from my car because I forgot that it was my Sunday. And I thought, oh God, I can't do it. And then I realized, nope, I can just prop my phone up on my steering wheel and deliver my sermon. So car sermon.
That's great.
Car sermon. That is great.
That's all. I'm enjoying being a spiritual
Thank you,
teacher and
Laura.
working as a psychologist nonstop. I mean, the demand is crazy, 9 hours in a row every day, all day.
Especially now, I would think.
Intense. Yeah, it's really intense.
Laura, please you post the invitation again for those meditations on the
We
Facebook.
just I just put it tonight, so I'll post it on the Interfaith, the 2 Facebook groups. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
please
Thank you
do.
for reminding me, Larry.
Please do.
Yeah, they're like a structured guided meditation with a little bit of information at first and then a guided meditation.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful. We need to come up with a structure where everybody can kind of share what they're doing in ministry and sort of support each other and get the word out there. Raj had his hand up.
I'm going to say
Thank
good
you,
night,
Laura.
everybody. Nice to
Good
see
night.
you.
God bless
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
Very nice.
Raj is channeling his inner self tonight.
Very funny.
Raj, there are 2 of you behind, by the way. We see 2
Brother,
of you.
it's brother oneness.
One is spirit, one is actual person.
But he's actually 2.
I know.
Your higher self is behind you.
Rabbi, unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Namaste, everyone. It was wonderful to participate in the Interfaith Seminary presentation today. I do remember in 1993, there was an event at the Madison Square Garden where I heard Rabbi Gilberman first time. I didn't get a chance to come close to him, but I liked the message of inclusion, oneness, and all that. I have dedicated my limited efforts I have to share the message of oneness of all, inclusion, unity, compassion, hate none, and all that. So thank you. It was enlightening to hear all the messages today. I work with Guruji in the World Yoga community. So I just wanted to introduce myself. Namaste. God bless you.
He's also an attorney. From what I could see, a wonderful father and family man as well. What a beautiful family. So
Thank you. We have 5 grandchildren and from multi-faiths and etc. Thank you.
Wow.
Truly blessed.
I think another man that may not sleep.
Raj is board of trustee too, long time friend. And we have Remy here.
Remy.
Hi, Remy.
Hi, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste.
Nice to see everybody. What a great program today. Sorry I left for another obligation, and I came back. So thank you so much. It was wonderful. I did enjoy the program, and it's always a pleasure to participate in all faith seminary activities. If I did not tell anyone that I never was a student at all faith, no one would believe me, because I usually am hanging around whenever Reverend Kathleen or Reverend Susanna or Larry and Tamar, so everyone usually thinks, like I'm an alumni or something like that, but it's always great to be in the midst of everybody, to fellowship together. And, God bless you all. Thank you very much.
And Remy's ordained, by the way.
Yes.
She is an ordained minister. She went to
Interfaith
seminary.
minister.
And she
Yes.
was rooted in Christianity, but also spread out.
Spread out
Other
to,
traditions.
yes, other traditions. And, I'm looking into, or well, not looking into, I'm beginning to, welcome back the idea of the African traditional practice, and to ingrain or embed it in my interfaith ministry.
The Yoruban.
Yes, Yoruba.
Yeah.
The session yesterday, Remy, was fantastic.
Thank you.
It was amazing.
I'm sorry I missed it. One of the things I love, Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, and I think I quoted him in my book, because I've worked with many Africans who think very rooted in Christianity, they at first are afraid of their Yoruban tradition, right? Am I right? Because they think maybe it's pagan. But I always quote to them Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who said, it wasn't the pagans that made the Holocaust or the pogroms or the Inquisition. It wasn't them, meaning, why are you against them? Look at the beauty. And this is, what you're talking about is what we say in seminary, never instead of, in addition to. Why can't you be Christian and Yoruban?
Yes.
Why not?
So many people are beginning to actually, relearn that, how to be that, instead of just, be Christian and then have a sort of loss of identity. So there's this big wave of African spirituality. You may be Christian or Muslim or Jewish, but it doesn't matter. You still have your way of life, your belief system.
Yeah.
And one thing we have to do is to take the good out of every traditional practice or spiritual belief, and it can be incorporated into whether we're Christians or Muslims or Jewish or whatnot. So many people are actually afraid because there's a lot of rituals and stuff like that, but you can do away with those and take the good out of it. That becomes like a day-to-day spirituality or affirmation of the self, of who you are, and also some of the maybe tenets or something like that can be incorporated easily. And I found that very meaningful for me as a person, to reconnect back to my self, my identity, to my spiritual practice. And there's still a lot to be learned. Yesterday we had a 5-hour session. It was supposed to be 2 or 3 hours, but we realized that there's a lot of a lot of things that we actually need to address before people can find themselves. So I welcome this forum. Again, it's always a pleasure to be with everybody, so open to receiving, so welcoming. And I love the spirit of all faith. You're an embodiment of what interfaith is, because you're so open. You can be who you are, believing whatever you want to believe in, but you still can be at all faith. So that's very wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Remy. We're one family.
Yes.
We're one family. One
I
world,
want to-
one cosmos.
I want to offer that Dr. Remy has accepted an invitation to speak at our beloved Community Interfaith Network meeting this month.
Yes.
I will be putting that. She will be talking about the Yoruba faith.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we do. So I'll be posting on the YouTube an announcement. So come and join us and hear that presentation.
Yes, thank you.
That's wonderful.
Remy, do you know Reverend Joyce, who was in our seminary last semester? Because she was very much a proponent of that in her own practice, and she gave her sermon about it.
Reverend Joyce?
Joyce, yeah, she goes by Joyce. I can send you maybe a link.
If I see her face, I probably can remember, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had encountered one another along the way, because that's where-
probably.
This was last year, Larry.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah, I remember her. Yes, I did.
Did anyone not get a chance to share?
Could I stay with the African theme for a second?
Yes.
Go to sleep, everybody.
That I've never done before.
Bye, Rabbi. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless.
Shalom.
Wonderful. Shalom and light.
Mwah. Mwah.
So long, Rabbi.
Bye. Good night.
John, I owe you a call.
Well.
Where are you? John?
All right, Rabbi.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, anytime.
Okay.
All right.
So on the peace lights screen there, you see that,
Yes.
that stuff in the middle? This
Look
is
at that.
a 1 minute, a 1 minute and 23-second video of people from around Africa. Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Yes.
These are all people holding up peace lights, signs and symbols. And
I see it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I can't see it.
You have to be on gallery.
Maybe we should all mute and just let.
You got to be on gallery.
You have to be on gallery, Kathleen.
Gallery view.
You have to be on gallery and then find it.
Yeah, I see it now.
I'll forward the link to
It's beautiful.
get it out.
Share your screen if you want.
There were over 20 countries represented. And this was done as a gesture of peace. These two people were from Nepal, actually. As a gesture of peace to the incoming administration in the United States. They posted all these pictures on the 20th of January, on Wednesday.
That is so cool.
So cool. So cool. I loved my time in Africa. African people are so warm and inviting.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It says a lot about you, Pete, that they seem to gravitate towards your peace sites,
They're
right?
gravitating towards the message. You know,
Yeah.
the whole vision is really getting them. It's beautiful to watch.
Beautiful.
That is so cool.
Very
I would
cool.
imagine they would be really embracing our Interfaith Menorah as well.
Yeah.
They love the interfaith message. I talk about the interfaith message all the time, and I've even said, you know, the whole thing about multiple ladders going up, and you know, once you get high enough, you kick away the ladder. And the thing that really propelled me into this, you know, really hardcore was when I got semi-blindsided by the question about the 83 people who were killed in this person's village the week before by Boko Haram. Just today, I wrote a comment on a message I was putting on about how the identification of people primarily with their religion or ethnic group, you know, really needs to be reframed. And I used Nigeria as an example. I said, you know, it's not Christians and Muslims fighting in Nigeria. It should be Nigerians fighting against Christian Muslim violence. And that, you know, that's kind of thematic in all the people I talk about. There's so much desire to get the culture started that, you know, religion and ethnic violence and tribalism are not the focus.
Right.
So,
Transcend that.
I think the world is getting there.
Yes.
I think the world is getting there. You
Definitely.
know, Einstein said nationalism is an infantile disease. It's the measles of humanity. So you
Whoa.
could say tribalism is
That's
an,
great.
it's when humanity is in its infancy, right? But we're evolving, thank God.
you know, in Rwanda, it's against the law to express or to list the tribal origins of something.
Really?
Genocide.
Really?
They've kind of made it
Because of what happened.
strict rules about what you can and can't say regarding where you're from and stuff like that.
Because of what happened.
And now they're using media, just like media was used to really incite the violence, the radio in particular. They're using radio and media to tell Romeo and Juliet like stories.
Oh.
To bridge the gaps.
Oh.
Good.
If I can interject a little bit into this, I raised my hand there. I'm a little bit new to interfaith and surrounded by so many wonderful clergy and interfaith clergy, and Baha'is don't have clergy per se. We are each as Baha'is called to do the service. So I resonate with what everyone here is speaking and offering up. And I loved the dates that were given, that everyone was ordained into the Interfaith Ministry. And I was trying to do a redefinition of terms here as to, well, what does this mean? What does this mean to me personally? And what I have to say is that I would redefine that term for myself to say that although I don't have the ordination degree and I did not do the study in the same way, I joined the Interfaith Ministry in 1969. I became a Baha'i, because in order to become a Baha'i, I had to truly accept in my heart the total reality and oneness of every faith that has come to humanity, and recognize the contribution, everything you've been talking about. And so it's been a lifelong process. I'm affirming from my 50 years of having been a Baha'i, everything you guys are doing. And then the next redefinition of terms is well, what is my ministry? And I have to say that my ministry is being expressed right now in two organizations. One is the Race Amity Forum of Detroit metropolitan area that meets once a month, and we've been putting programs on for 2 years to bring about a platform where people can join together, cross culture, cross races, and bring topics out in conversation and discussion, and allow a safe place where people can talk about race and their experiences and support one another and become friends. And the other one is I have to read it here, the Racial Justice and Unity Forum. And there's meetings coming up this month on February 8th and on February 26th, Zoom type meetings for anybody that would like to participate in those. I offer you that invitation. So that's my ministry.
David, do you know about Imam Arif, who was on earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
John, David serves on his board of directors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes.
great.
That's how I met David.
I see. Very good.
Thank you for.
I've always been really impressed with what he says. And of course, David, the Baha'is have been interfaith from the get-go.
Right.
Lula said it then. And they're not just interfaith, by the way. They believe in gender equality, racial equality, socioeconomic equality. I mean, it's cross the board, political equality. They have these groups of 12. I mean, it's really, really enlightened.
The earth is but one country, and mankind
is its citizens.
Very good. Right. I'm going to have to go too, guys.
Good night, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you for putting this all together.
Good night, John.
God bless you.
Susanna.
I think we're about to close. Prem,
Yeah.
do you want to say something before we close?
No, who is
Just
going to?
Prem,
have a few last words and then say goodnight.
Terry, but Prem hasn't spoken, I don't think.
That's all right.
That's okay?
Yeah, I'm just here to say hi to everyone. This is Larry and Tamar. Hi. It's been a long time. So just so wonderful to connect with everyone.
Yeah. Your chant was beautiful. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Natalia is raising her hand.
I am only wanting to say thank you. It's been such an awesome experience being here with all of you this evening. It just feel the vibration raising higher and higher and higher and higher. Kind of like your love is taking me higher, and it just feels so good to be with all of you. I'm so happy to be a part of this community at all faiths. So happy to have y'all. Blessings. And the only thing I think would be really, really great if we had one of those informal schmoozes. Can we organize
That's what I
something
was
of that?
thinking. We'll have some
I
informal
think that would be
schmoozes.
such perfectamundo great. Like
Yeah. We're definitely going to talk about that. But everyone, I think we have to say namaste and thank you and cheers to Guruji. It was he who came to us with let's do this. And the man has been doing 14 days, morning, noon, and night events. It's incredible.
Okay, now I have just one more
8
thing.
days.
I just have to say, just the remembrance of the day of inauguration when you put that ceremony together for us, Guruji, and at the end of our ceremony of an hour and a half, you opened us up onto Facebook and we all went into the inauguration together. It was just so beyond awesome to be a part of that.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
So we reached over 1,700 people.
Yeah.
It's growing every 20 minutes, 100. So I want to thank our All Faith Seminary, all the trustees, teachers, advisors, students, alumni, the trustees from the World Yoga community, volunteers, advisors, and of course, Rabbi, government, spirit, and Swami Bua spirit. Because that's the way we connect. I connected with them here in New York City. Last 21 years of relationship with the seminary, all the seminary too. So I thought maybe go with the 9 days events, end up of 14. Every day 3-4 events, even night I had to work. 11 o'clock I have another one.
How
So,
about a month events?
fine. You know, this
Yeah.
we had to do it. This is where people get the awareness.
Yes.
Because
Reverend Kathleen must be right. You couldn't possibly sleep.
He doesn't. He sleeps 1 hour a night.
He's due for some dreamless time.
When we plan these events, I'll text him, you know, thinking he's not going to get an email at 3-4 in the morning. He answers.
He responds,
He
yeah.
answers. He responds at 3-4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, immediately.
So yesterday my brother left a message. I didn't call him last two weeks. He said, what happened? There's a big snow in New York. They had a big news on newspaper. Something happened. I said, no, working on different flyers, different events and connecting. And sometimes we give ideas to implement this event because this is a major time of the year related with the UN event, you know. So people want to have their own way, but we cannot go on their own way because it's related to the UN. And we want to see how it will match with the UN agenda. All the flyers and all the videos are going to the UN diplomats. They all are going to see it, you know. So not only those who are in the meeting. We give the reports, you know. And we had to do a partnership event and a lot of dramas between organizations and us, you know. And sometimes people step back. They think we are trying to convert somebody. So actually, no. Bring people from different countries, you know, that's the way it is. Even when we did the event at the Indian consulate in 2007, one of the ashram director sent an email, you are doing a politics, so we don't want to involve it. I said, no, fine, you don't want to do it, fine. But we established and we announced Yoga Day in 2007 at the Indian consulate. Again, it took up to 2015 to implement at the UN. So over 25 years, we work hard to implement something. Same thing happened at the UN to create interfaith harmony and the peace events. We established everything, you know. In 2007, I left New York, went to India. I thought, why I had to spend all the money here? Just go enjoy my life. And Swami Bua came there, asked me to come back again. Then I became his caretaker. And he gave the shell, asked me to start blow at the UN. That's how we start, you know. So that's a purpose for everything, you know. Like David said, in 1969, he started the movement. For me, by birth, I start my movement. That's a way. Born as a member of the interfaith family, it's a struggle, right? So we face the problems, we'll go. So I always tell my students, good to have more problems in our life, so we grow that much. That's experience, you know. So see, now we are having this even, same time I am chatting with the people from India because they have event on Friday. And film stars, you know, directors, all are going to speak in their way. And all these 14 days, even people are going to come on Sunday. And Baba Jain, who's the person put the Millennium Religious Conference at the UN and gave an Interfaith Award to Mada Mardana Mai, he's going to speak at the event. There's a lot of work involved with it, you know. And trustees from the Parliament of Religion is going to speak. The past chair is going to speak. People from the UN. We keep it open. And I know we're planning for 3 hours. It will go maybe 5 or 6 hours. The planned event will be 3 hours. Then we'll extend, you know. So this is the way it's going. So I'm happy everybody's coming together at least for this Shumus time, and it's a very happy time. Enjoying the time still already 10 o'clock. Those who are here, means that you are enjoying the time. You know, otherwise people have said, no, I had to go and sleep. I had to. eat. This is the way people think. For me, every moment is like this. Okay, next one, next one, next event, next meeting, on and on. This is the way it is. I enjoy it. So for me, I won't get tired. So we'll end up with the 3 Ohms and a short mantra and finish it. Let me see, because I didn't record from the starting. Somebody called, so I had to answer. And then I saw Larry's message. Then within that time, I already click on the record button when Susanna started. Loga samasta sugino bhavantu. Loga samasta sugino bhavantu. Loga samasta sugino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful good night.
Thank you so much, Guruji. I bless.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Blessings, blessings. This was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you all.
God bless you all.
Bye-bye.